Walk into just about any training department and mention Bloom's taxonomy. Then watch as people nod along knowingly, but they probably can't tell you what level their last training actually reached. Hi, I'm Jordon Taylor with the Corporate Training Companion, and I help new and aspiring corporate trainers learn and apply the modern fundamentals of corporate training. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell button so you get notified when new content's posted. That being said, today, let's talk about some training science. And to start, let me give you a quick reminder of what Bloom's taxonomy is before we jump into some problems that I see when applying it in corporate training. So Bloom's taxonomy is a framework from 1956 to categorize educational goals. It's built on 6 levels, and from simplest to most complex, you've got remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and then creating. The first level, remembering, is about recalling facts and basic concepts. Very simple. The second level is understanding, and this is where learners can explain an idea or a concept, and that shows that they understand the meaning behind the facts. And then you've got applying. At the third level, this means that the information or concepts can be used in new situations to solve new problems. They can apply what they've learned. The next and fourth level, analyzing, is breaking information down into different parts and looking at how they relate to one another and maybe even back to the whole. And fifth, we've got evaluating, which is when a learner is knowledgeable enough about an idea that they can make a valid judgment about it. And I'm not just talking about throwing shade off the cuff, but able to assess validity on a set of criteria or standards. And then finally, we've got creating in the 6th and top spot. This is where learners are able to combine elements of what they've learned in new ways, unique ways, never before seen ways. So this is your 60-second refresher on Bloom's. And now that we've covered that, let's talk about why this 70-year-old pyramid might not be as useful in corporate training as others would have you believe. We're told that Bloom's is the holy grail for learning objectives, when the reality is most companies, they never train beyond level 3. I've delivered well over 100 unique corporate training programs, and here's what I found. None of them went all the way up to the create level. Interestingly enough, though, the one that went the highest was built around Legos, so that was pretty fun. But that said, I see 3 big problems with leaning too hard into Bloom's taxonomy in corporate training. And the first one is what I call the apply ceiling. So let me give you an example. In an active listening training, first, I teach you to remember the key components of active listening. Then I train you to a point where you can explain why active listening is important. My next step is to get you applying it. So I'll do role plays. There we are. We're at level 3. Now, I may take it a little bit further and observe over time your one-on-ones or interactions in team meetings and provide feedback and coaching. But guess what? We're still at the apply stage. That's our ceiling for this training. But equally as important, that's all I need you to do. You've adjusted your behavior. You're actively listening now. We're good. I'll give you another example. Systems training. First, I train you to recall the basic navigation of our internal CRM. Then, once you can describe the data and why the CRM is important, I'll start to teach you how to add, remove, edit, and generally just manage the data in the CRM. Again, that's all I need you to do. Analyze, evaluate, create, just not needed. So this is why I call it the apply ceiling. It's not a problem. It's just, it is what it is. I hate that term. Okay, problem number 2. Bloom's taxonomy is a product of its time, and a lot has changed in the past 70 years. Bloom's strict hierarchical structure may not be quite as relevant today. Right now, and probably even more so in the future, tech is doing a lot of the heavy lifting at the understand level, level 2. For instance, a couple of years ago, I was training support agents on how to use the translate feature in Zendesk. Like customer chats in with a different language, and then you translate it, type the response, and then translate it back to the customer's language before sending it back to them. That sort of thing. Now, In this training, I don't need them to understand how natural language processing works, level 2 stuff. I just need them to remember, level 1, where the translate button is and know how to translate their messages back. Level 3, apply. So just maybe that linear structure is starting to show some signs of aging. That's all I'm saying. Now that brings us to our final problem. Problem number 3. Bloom's taxonomy was built for academic settings, not quarterly business results. When was the last time your manager or CEO asked, did that sales training hit the evaluate level? What actually matters is that the training you're delivering drives the behavior change the company needs to either, number 1, lower costs, or number 2, make more money. Is it worth being familiar with Bloom's taxonomy as a corporate trainer? Absolutely. Does that mean that every learning objective of every course needs to be tied to Bloom's? Not at all. If you're a job seeker, yes, learn it, but don't expect to fully use it. If you're a new trainer, focus on what drives business results first. If you're an experienced trainer, use Bloom's as a diagnostic tool, not a rigid framework. But you don't have to take my word for it. I challenge you, audit your last 3 training programs. Did they actually go beyond the apply level? Did you use Bloom's at all? What were the results? I'm genuinely interested. Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video interesting or thought-provoking, hit that like, subscribe, bell icon. I'm Jordon Taylor with the Corporate Training Companion. Until next time.